Every episode celebrates original content written by real people who experience real emotions. I'm Rayanne Thorn Krueger. Welcome to Real Words. My actor disappeared. There he is. I am so happy to welcome Walter Gray IV to Real Words in this special series, the ECT series, where we are talking about an innovative slash potentially immersive theater experience. We don't know. Nobody knows. The actors don't know. There's no director. There's no set. There's no script until they walk out on stage. Walter, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Rayanne. Pleasure. And thank you for doing this for ECT and for everyone. Really
Well,
awesome.
I love that. Thank you. I love ECT and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. We're talking about a production called White Rabbit, Red Rabbit, which was written by playwright Nassim Soleimanpour, an Iranian playwright who wrote this during a time when he was unable to leave. He's forbidden to leave his country, his home, and the zaniness that ensues because of that drove him to write this piece with the construct that no actor gets to perform it more than once. No actor gets to see it before they are handed the script before they walk out on stage. So my first question to you, Walter, before we dive into White Rabbit, Red Rabbit, is tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience with theater.
I'll make you as quick a jaunt as I can. The bug got me in high school and never looked back. No. Went to undergrad at Indiana University, Pennsylvania. It was a great, closely knit bubble, for lack of a better term, of just wonderful instructors and teachers and productions that we got to perform in. There's some things I got to direct. Really, I got the bug in high school, but then I found the love for it and wanted to stay with it in undergrad at IUP. It's called in Western Pennsylvania, in my hometown of Indiana, Pennsylvania, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Anyway, got lucky enough my senior year to get go to ERDA's. That was happening in Chicago. Auditioned for a bunch of different graduate programs across the country. UCLA was there. Mel Shapiro, who just passed away, may he rest in peace. And he was there to see a bunch of different folks. I was lucky enough to make it to the last round, got in, and I think it was the start of 2008, fall of 2008. I started a 3-year master's program at UCLA. So I have my master's degree and all the student debt that comes with it from there. And I learned, again, just immeasurable amount of important things when it comes to the craft and the love and all of it about myself and as a performer. So straight out of that, started working multiple jobs once the financial aid was running out. But the one that really stuck was key set production assistant for Sony on their motion capture stage for video games. So
Wow.
a number of AAA titles that I've worked on through Sony or with Sony and some non-Sony titles for the better part of 10 years, about 8.5 years, until I retired due to through all that, I was able to get myself a voiceover agent, and then started missing out on acting opportunities, actually. So I had to, I was turning down acting opportunities because I was committed to working on the mocap stage. So I made the difficult decision to leave in October of 2019. And then the beginning of about January 2020, I was thankful enough to start directing voiceover, being additional director for a major video game and help with that. And around the very beginning of March,
I remember it well.
We all do. But thankfully, because I had started directing VO a little bit and everything was turning remote, and most of it still is to this day with voiceover, I was able to keep working through the pandemic from home, and everyone was kind of working remotely. So I was able to kind of build up a resume as a director in voiceover during those really tough years for everybody. And then now I am a freelance actor and director. And yeah, coming out of the pandemic, Brian I'm going to mess this up. I can't remember if my wife got asked and then I tagged along or vice versa, or we were both asked to, but we were asked to help out with their double shows of Shakespeare in Love and Romeo and Juliet
Right.
2 years ago, 2 summers ago.
Yep.
What year is it? Just turned 2025, so that doesn't count. I'm probably going past the question that you were actually asking me, but
No, that's great.
that's my history that brought me out here, and then that's how I ended up meeting Brian.
You combined three questions together. That was perfect.
If my wife sees this and she's like, "Dummy, this is how we know Brian and Callie."
That's okay. It all works. Whatever. We're getting to the meat of it. And
Yeah,
so I want to talk to you about White Rabbit, Red Rabbit.
great.
Amazing opportunity for you to do something innovative, potentially immersive. We don't know. None of us knows what's actually going to happen. So with that, why say yes to this?
Yeah, I was about to say, if you say so. I don't know what's keeping it's. Brian told me I'll answer your question first and then try to
Okay.
pontificate like I do, as opposed to the opposite. I said yes because Brian asked me, because you've known Brian for a while.
Yep.
It's hard to say no to that man, for
It
better or
is.
worse. But also, like, he and Callie, right? Like, I'm saying yes to both of them because they're both. I want to say they're both co-artistic directors, but they both are. The ECT is them and the wonderful board. So it's that simple. In previous productions, when we have these ensemble casts like Much Ado or Robin Hood or the other people, Bobby, Kyle, Mike, everybody that you've been interviewing and I've seen on stage before, they're just so lovely to work with, and most of them are Fullerton locals. I'm up here in Montecito Heights. I'm near downtown LA, so it is a bit of a hike and it is a bit of traffic. But if this pandemic and this current video game strike that we have right now has reminded me of nothing else, it's that any opportunity to play is helpful and welcome to the soul. It's also such a unique challenge that I know you've already talked to with Brian and some other actors. I did a little research and looked at the
Good
other
job.
podcasts. I didn't get through them all, but it's the actor's nightmare, which is those not familiar with it, is the dream is, it's usually when you've been rehearsing a play and you're coming up on the week before, so you're about to open a show, and then you have that nightmare where you're on stage. You don't have to be naked necessarily, but maybe you're not wearing the right costume. You don't know any of the lines. You don't know why you have
You
this
don't
dagger in your
remember
hand. You
your
don't know
entry line. You
nothing.
don't
You
even
have
remember.
nothing.
I've
You're
had
on
that dream.
stage. Thousands of people are looking at you, waiting for you to do something, and you have no idea why you're there.
Right.
I know at least why I'm here. I don't know the show. I don't know the context. I don't know the actor in me that has had training for a number of years goes, is this theater?
Right.
There's no rehearsals. We're not learning lines. We're not I don't know what to expect. So is it more improv than anything else? And if that's the case, okay. But part of me is, do I I've had the idea of, Brian hands me the script, great, and I just sit there and just like the joke of recording an audiobook where you get to the end of it. Oh, you wanted me to do that out loud? I'm sorry.
Oh, wait. Sorry about that.
But the problem is we have to get all of our friends and family to come
That's
see
right.
our night.
Right.
And understandably so. And I know you guys talked about this before. As much as I want to go see Callie on opening night, I can't,
You don't
because
get
then
to.
I'll know what the show is, or at least I'll know what the lines are, or the bits that she's asked to do. As far as I know, Brian talked about this in your first episode. 48 hours before they hand us a binder, or they tell, they give us a packet of information. This is what to expect. I know there is one trigger warning as far as content for the show, but other than that, it's literally, if you look at it just from a human being asking other human beings, I'm asking the majority of my friends who live in Los Angeles to brave, and this is not a negative, this is just a fact, to brave rush hour traffic to come down to Fullerton to see a 7:30 show. And I believe it's a one act. I don't even know if it's a one act.
I don't know anything.
I had no idea. I hope
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Only for
mine
their
is too.
sake.
Right.
I can stand up there and pretend to tap dance for 2 hours, but
Sure.
so there's also with what I just said about rehearsing and not knowing lines and stuff, like I f- actors, performers want to do a good job, and I think part of the point of this, and I think part of the point of why Brian wants to do it, this is my assumption, is you get to take that ego out of it completely, because there's no guarantee that you're going to do well. That's all theater, but at least with
Right.
if you're doing a Doll's House, you've memorized all your lines, you know the characters,
Right.
you can do the Stanislavski if you need to, or the Meisner, you can do the work. This is a cold reading of a script, not just a cold reading, it's a cold performing. So what if I read something I don't want to do? I don't have the
Right.
option. Then in that moment I have to, or
Or
it's
you get to decide how to do it, or you get to
obviously, and I'm sure that's the whole.
turn. Right.
Really, Brian is pretty selfish for putting this on, because he gets to watch all of his favorite people,
Right. Right.
including Callie, do this, and he goes, "Oh, that's yeah, that's I never thought of it like that," and he gets
Oh
to like
God, you
see
just
all these
sound
different
just like
people.
him.
Years of practice, it's admiration as well.
Yes. Yes.
But like Bobby's going to have a completely different night than I am,
Right.
which is exciting. And I can't remember if Bobby's before or after me, but
He's before you.
see,
He's
yeah,
before you. Right.
there's like a
His.
handful of people I can see just
Yeah.
after me, but that's it.
Speaking
So
of that, you
yeah,
perform on February 24th.
yes, thank you.
7 p.m. I've popped up on the screen here. Those of you that are watching this and not listening to it, electriccompanytheater.org, right? Right. electriccompanytheater.org. Go to that website. You can purchase tickets. There's a button that says get tickets. Just buy tickets there. Scroll down to February 24th and you can buy tickets to see Walter Gray the fourth. What an exciting opportunity. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be fantastic. Before we get away, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, Walt, is do you feel like your years of theater, and when I spoke with oh shoot, one of the actors, I can't think of his name right now. I want to look up
That's
Jeff
all
Paul.
right,
Jeff
Jeff.
Paul. When I spoke with Jeff called himself a theater practitioner, and I love
Hmm.
that. I love that. You certainly are with the work that you do now, with the work that you've done, the participation that you've had in various aspects of theater. As a theater practitioner, does that practice influence your work?
I'm sure it does. Yeah, I'm. Listen, if you guys buy a ticket on the 24th, know that I'm going to do my damnedest to entertain not just you guys, but myself, because I had to go through traffic to sit there and be at the ECT and be
Sure.
with these wonderful people. But like, I don't know. That's a great question, Rand, but at the same time, I don't know how to answer it. Yes, yes, yes. I think, and maybe this is the point of the show. I'm gonna show up as Walt, ready to perform. So it's gonna be me, uh, reading and learning what the lines in the show is as I go. So I'll be discovering it with the audience, which is the whole point, I feel. But also the whole point is so that the actor doesn't get in the way. Whatever practicing I've been doing in the past, or things that I've learned, or tricks that I might have up my sleeve for doing a good job,
Right.
all of that pretense is gone,
Right.
which is exciting and part of that actor's nightmare part. I will, because I will have no idea what's going to happen, nothing can go wrong, which I think is a very freeing and helpful way to think about it. So, and that's one of the, go back to your first question, second question. One of the reasons I said yes to this was like, this is so unique. How can we have a show
Right.
that isn't directed, that isn't also just a relief not to be told what to do by Brian anymore, to be honest. He still wants me to come do this show, but just now I don't have to take that's
Yeah.
a joke. That's a
He
joke.
won't,
He knows
as
that's
you
a
walk,
joke.
I know, but as you walk off stage, he won't be, hey, so tomorrow night I'd like you
Right.
to.
Right. There's no notes from him after we opened, even though there's not supposed to be more notes after
That's
opening.
right. That's right.
I'm the same when I direct. But no, I hope that answers your question. I
It
don't.
does. It does. It's perfect. I love how you started it. You started it with, I'm going to show up as Walt, but I can
All I can do.
guarantee, Walt, you're not going to leave as the same Walt that showed up. I
Do
feel
you
like
know the
this
show?
is, I don't, but
Okay, I didn't think you
I
did.
don't know at all. I don't know anything,
But you're
but I
going to
feel
Callie's show at
I'm
least.
going to all of them. I'm going to all
Oh,
of them.
bless you. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm going to go to all of them. And I guarantee just how I feel after speaking to each of you
Yeah,
that this is going to change you as a person, as an actor, as a theater practitioner, as a human being. I just really feel that. I feel like
it's
the
exciting.
reason for the construct of this show is because of that, right?
That's so.
So,
Why would you say no to that? You know?
why would you say no to that?
Yeah, I think that's the way to sell it. If someone's going to do that show, is like it will change you as a performer. So I think that's
I feel it that
awesome.
has to be true.
Yeah,
Otherwise, our friend Brian Johnson would never select this piece,
totally agreed. No,
right?
I agree with
So,
that. No, his selections are his and Callie's selections are wonderful. It's another reason I love working with them. But yeah, that's extremely well said. And I think you are going to have you and Brian are going to have a very unique experience
right,
seeing those 12 different shows. That's awesome. That would encourage everyone. I would hope, if they can, buy a ticket for all the shows
right.
and go on
Why
that
not?
journey with you.
Why
Exactly.
not? Why not? Well, Walter Gray IV, thank you so much for being my guest today. It's been such a pleasure to learn about you, to get excited about seeing you on stage, and we wish you the best. And again, to remind our audience, February 24th, 7 p.m., Electric Company Theater, the resident theater company at the Muckenthaler Cultural Arts Center in Fullerton, California. Thanks again, Walt.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rayanne. Appreciate it.